Your candid friend Joe back here, bridging the gap between best practices in reliability and the reality that you live every day in your plant. Telling you stories and lessons learned from my life and times as a plant manager, department leader, and engineer. Today's topic, timely. I've got 4 emails on this topic about budgets. I just got my orders from on high that I am to cut my budget 5, 10, 15, 20%, all of them different, but I had all these hopes and dreams for next year. Got to cut something. Okay, first, like and subscribe, folks. Got 150 people. I'm going for 160 with this video. Please just take a second, hit that like at the bottom left of your screen. You know, as usual, your hopes and dreams are dashed by an email from above saying you got to cut your budget 15%, 25, whatever. I have some really good ideas around hiring a reliability engineer, hiring 2 more planners, getting some really cool PDM tools, and some training, finally some training for the masses. And looks like 2020 is going to be another year of cutting costs, increased risk, and deferrals. It's a broken record, right? How many years in a row have you said this? This is going to sting a little bit, but you need to get over that victim talk, okay? There's an enormous amount of opportunity in waste elimination. I'm going to detail that a little bit here. But we got to get out of that victim position that we need more money to get things done inside the reliability and maintenance space. That it's just not true. Budget reductions shouldn't come as a surprise and shouldn't be seen as a bad thing. Everybody on this video is wanting a 3, 4, 5, 10% raise next year, right? Yesterday's high tech is tomorrow's commodity. There's constant pressure to push down costs. You got to see this as a good thing for you personally because you want a raise. You want more money next year. Your plant to be more viable and more sustainable long term. Your community so you can be an active member in your community, give to your charitable organizations, have fun, give to your youth groups, whatever you want to do. But it's a good thing to get better, and it's an expectation. Your life personally will get a lot better. Those that have climbed this mountain of reliability, and there's still another mountain range behind that, even for people like me. But your life gets better. You stop working these 12-hour days. You're a better dad. You're a better mother. You're a better citizen when you don't have frustration and unpredictability in your life. The trap to avoid, and this 99% of the people fall into this trap, and you cannot. If you're listening to these videos, you're more educated than that. You cannot fall into the cost-cutting trap. That's what's been provided for you. There's bait on this little steel trap, right? And it just clamp onto your foot. You can't fall into that. You've got to be the person, the voice for waste elimination. 99% of people are going to fail that test. Is it you? How are we going to do that? Step number 1, no surprise here. We got to understand current state. And current state is chalk circle observation, folks. There's enough videos out on that, okay? I promise you, you will see the organization, the opportunity completely different if you do chalk circle observation. And by chalk circle, folks, I'm talking about it doesn't count if it's less than 4 hours. And a big plan like your 2020 plan, you need to invest at least 3 days into 8-hour observations, best with the team, best under the guidance of a coach, but you can do it yourself. Okay, I've never seen a plant that I've worked with not self-identify 10% reduction in waste in 6 months. That's the lowest I've seen. I personally have had 15 and 42 at plants that I was in charge of. Okay, so observation at least 3 days. Now, what are some of the common things that I've seen part of people's plans? And again, this is your plan, your priority based on your observations. These are generic. Don't just write these down in order because they may not be the waste of your plant. But I would say 90% of the people this is what they have. Your theme for 2020, your elevator speech, your signs that you make that's on everything you do is the theme for 2020 is waste elimination. 2 words. That's your elevator speech with your boss, with your VP, with the president. Waste eliminations. Easy, easy, easy speech, easy to get your arms around. Okay, number 1, we're going to create a go and see culture. Go and see. We're going to have random PM audits every Tuesday. Every failure we have, the lead team is going to go out and observe those and see what's going on, not hear about the metric in the daily management meeting or in an email. We're going to have chalk circle expectations for every approval that comes to the lead team. Every personnel change, every spending change, it's got to be supported with 4 hours minimum, 4 of chalk circle observation. Block out 4 hours on Wednesday afternoons to be an observation time for the entire staff. Guys, that's idea number 1 or action number 1, and it's free, no cost. Number 2, problem solving. Hey, we want to get a full-time reliability engineer from existing staffing. If you don't have an engineer, is there a mechanic? Is there a supervisor? Is there somebody that's talented in addressing root cause? Maybe have a test for that. I'm sure you can find somebody. How do we free them up to focus on the strategic issues? Sponsor focus teams based on historical problems and large spends. That can be my plant. You heard this. You can probably pass the test on this. Lubrication, number 1. Motors, number 2. Let's have a focus team. Have them meet every week. What motor failures failed this week? What can we do about it? What common themes do we got? You focus on the critical couple, right? Department OEE teams, data-driven actions come out of them. Maybe they just meet monthly with how did this asset run during the month? What were the major detractors, the major expenditures, and focus on those. Again, this is free. Action number 3, increase PDM, your condition monitoring. Most have condition monitoring as a hobby, and most also started a PM program back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. They were doing PMs, and then the technology for condition-based monitoring got cheaper, and then they've simply added that. There's waste in there. If you're doing oil analysis on a hydraulic system, you don't need to change out the oil every month, right? You don't need to do that. Maybe that was a corrective action for a downtime item. So what PMs can you get rid of because you're doing condition monitoring? What would it take to get your condition monitoring program to 50% of your R&M labor is attributed to that? Either diagnostic, going out and finding the anomalies, and the follow-up. 50% of your work is from that. Imagine that. What would have to be true to have 50%? That's no longer a hobby, folks. That's your main game is condition-based monitoring. That's the kind of bold step you need. Action number 3 is free. Increase PDM. Number 4, PM optimization. This was huge at my plants. We had this PMs that were just overwhelming the process, and most of those PMs were junk. So in Q1, have an offsite PM optimization 1 session where what you're trying to do is eliminate really dumb things in your PM system. What was the last time you looked at all your PMs, stacked up and looked at them? We got 2 people, 8 hours on this task? That's crazy. That should be 2 people, 2 hours. Make those changes to frequency, personnel, and duration of the event. Make those things that are just dumb that you're doing. Get rid of those. First cut, you may get, my plant, we got 20,000 hours. 10 FTEs were taken out PM optimization 1. PM optimization 2. Look at the finer points of staffing. A lot of times inside of a PM, over time, if you've had a PM in place for 20 years, it may have taken 2 hours one time, but then sometime year 5, it took 8 hours. So we changed that PM from 2 hours to 8 hours in case something happens, in case there's some discovery work. Folks, that's a 15-yard penalty. Most of the time, I see this at every plant. They put in worst case, and then your wrench time, 9 times out of 10 is about 15%. The other time you get some discovery work in there, it does take you 8 hours. manage to the 90% of the time it only takes 2 hours. Don't put in 100% of the time it's going to take 8. That's a fault almost every plant has. PM optimization 3, do that in quarter 3. That's where you have a reliability engineer team of professionals, maybe external consultants, looking at failure modes. Are the PMs that you're driving, are they based on failure mode, or are they based on fear? And by fear, that means a quality issue happened in the field and we want a mechanic to look at it for 2 hours every shift. Well, that's not based on failure mode. That's based on an event that happened and makes somebody feel better to have a mechanic look at something. So 3 PM optimizations, again, free. Number 5, last action, wrench time. You know, change the planner expectation to anticipate. There's video on that. Anticipate problems in wrench time detractors. They own wrench time. They set up the crafts and the supervisors to have good wrench time or bad. The planner, meet with the supervisor daily at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Have the planner and supervisor get together and how did today go? That's problem solving. How did today go? You know, what can we do to make it more efficient next time? Number 3, kitting and staging. A lot of people sending me emails that they're doing kitting. They show me their kitting areas. They need to look great. Staging is key, folks. That staging means putting the job kit with every part and piece that they can possibly need and tool, taking that and putting that out at the job site within 10 feet of it is staging. And then also putting the aerial lift out there and the mobile crane, whatever's the welder, whatever's needed out at the job site. Observation will show, every plant I've seen will show that that is major. You can double your wrench time. If you're low wrench time, 15%, you want to get to 30, you could do it almost overnight with kitting and staging. You know, you got to cascade the observation of the lead team, cascade that down to the lowest level. Once a quarter, have your planners and supervisors and a couple craft people participate in observation. 1 day observation, once a quarter, see how they're doing. One thing to help the planners and supervisors save face and to focus on learning is to have them do that in a different area. So for example, if a supervisor is in rolling department, have them do their observation and casting. They'll be more open to see the waste if it's not in their own backyard. Again, all these are free. You know, folks, look at this. See that blue? That's a half page. I just laid out a plan for you, 5 points in a half page. You know, you don't need a 20-page plan. You know, you need simplicity for alignment in the organization. You need simplicity for sponsorship. If you can't put it on 1 page or 1 PowerPoint presentation page, you don't understand it and you can't communicate it. You need to get that buzz going where 2020 is about eliminating waste, and here's the 5 things we're doing. Very simple plan. The key point that not to overlook is you got to spend some time on where the waste is going to come out from these actions. Is it going to come out in materials and overtime in production, overtime in maintenance? Is it going to come out from attrition? Where's the money coming from? Don't forget about the production impact. I know if you're challenged to get 15% reduction in R&M, that doesn't count, but you can put a little asterisk on there. If you reduce your R&M spend by 10% and you help production increase their output 20%, maybe you'll get your asset owner, production partner to give a positive comment for you. Again, so Joe's challenge for next week, make a 1-page plan for next year. 1 page. You know, no more than 5 focus areas and no more than 4 actions. Easy, free actions that you can really take in days underneath each focus area. Rewind this, that's an old term, you know, but go back and look at the 5 actions I just laid out. 9 out of 10 plants will need most of those actions. They're all free, no more resources, no cost, no sponsorship. I don't need $100,000, $200,000 to get started. Begin your journey. This is not that hard. Get free pointers from me right on my YouTube channel, right on LinkedIn if you're getting this video through there. You got my email address. I'll give out free pointers, talk to people on the phone all day long. I'd like to come to a few of your plants, you know, and I'm looking for maybe 1 out of 100 people that watch this, invite me to their plant. where I can shave years off your deployment and pay for my services just in weeks in the improvement you're going to see at your plant. Again, hit like and subscribe. I'm looking for 160. Need 10 people from this video. It's you, John. It's you, Jane. It's you, Michelle. All right? Give me a subscribe.